Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and we have about 6 new Sheildon knives that we are going to check out for the first time. Now, this one comes in 3 different options, or at least that's what I have, is 3 different options, and it has a harpooned drop point hollow ground blade, which I think this blade is a great blade shape, and I think it's very attractive. The name of this guy is the, whatever that is, isotholite, but it's in 7CR MOV, which I am not. Excuse the way I'm inserting this in, but after I got done filming, I went to Amazon to check out the prices for the knives to see if they were overpriced. And then I seen a little bit of deceptive information. So one, the box of the knife says 7CR 18 MOV. Well, when I go on the site, Amazon has them listed as 9CR 18 MOV. Now, when you scroll down, you do see that they say they have D2 versions and then 7CR versions. So I'm guessing this is just obviously the 7CR version, but I don't see it labeled on the blade. Now, the next thing is next to the 7CR, it says that 7CR is equivalent to VG10, which is absolutely not true. 7CR would be like a 440A. VG10 would be more equivalent to like N690 and close to 154 CM, but you know, like in that general area, where 9CR 18 MOV would be like a 440C. So 440C, you know, being higher than, you know, a 440A, and then the 7CR be like a 440A. So, you know, I'm not sure, you know, obviously it's probably the 7CR, but then the price is like over $20. And, you know, the knife feels like good quality and everything, but over $20 for 7CR just doesn't make sense because you can get 9CR, you can get D2. There's a lot of better steels you can get for the money. So I will say that they are overpriced in that case. A fan of 7CR because you got to think 8CR is like a 440 steel. Not even 440C, that would be more like 9CR. So this is kind of probably like a 420 steel, maybe even a little bit less. So granted, it's probably very affordable, but I would say if the knife is not $15 or less, I wouldn't buy it because you can get D2 for $20. I mean, at least, you know, $22 to $25 easily. In many cases, I mean, there's even some other options that you can get in like 14C, so, or 8CR, you know, so it just doesn't make sense. But I will say though, the platform itself is really good, very ergonomic, nice hollow grind, nice access to the lock bar, very smooth, multiple forms of deployment. Let's feel the detents. Ooh, this one has a really, I like this one's detent even better. Ooh, listen to that sound. Very smooth. Thumb studs could be a little grippier. Yeah, thumb studs could definitely be a little grippier, especially on the stronger detent, but they're good though. You're not gonna slip knowing how they are, and they do have some traction on them. So this one, or they have a deep carry clip inset with flat screws, not reversible, TA hardware all the way around. Love to see that. So yeah, I would say that this would be a beater knife. You know, I'm not even gonna bitch about the sharpen tool and plunge grind or anything like that. Internal stop pin, wow, writing on bearings. I'm pretty sure they're ceramic bearings, or at least hopefully they are. But all in all, I'll say, man, this is a very well done budget beater knife. It's just, you know, if they get that steel just improved without probably changing the price, I'm not sure what the price is, but yeah, there you guys go. Let's check out the next one. The next one is, I don't know the name of this one. I'll try to put it up on the screen. Woo! It is like a razor. It's a little Tonto, and it's got a nice secondary tip, nice and pokey secondary tip. It is a dual flat ground blade in, oh, there's the name, the Haplon. So it is the Haplon, 154 CM blade steel. That's a good blade steel, great steel to have. It is a chunky little guy, only a 3-finger knife for me, but this little groove right here has really nice jimping inside of it. I like how they did the different types of jimping here and here. That is always a good idea because this is a nice little spot to put my thumb. It actually feels really good, especially for a 3-finger knife. Pinch grips are going to be probably the primary, using that secondary tip. The main tip you're not going to be able to use really well without lifting up your elbow really high, but you can use the belly to cut down on a flat surface, I guess. The micarta it's a budget micarta, but you know, it's fine as long as the price isn't too expensive. We have a G10 back spacer with a hidden lanyard pin and a deep carry wire clip that is reversible. T6 hardware on this one, and then a T8 pivot. Love to see that be just T8s across the board. The front flipper works great. Flipping action also works great. Let me see if I can do this. I don't think the side, yeah, you can do the side finger because the jimping is really well done. They did the perfect type of jimping, and so it has a lot of traction, and the detent is nicely tuned for a button lock. All in all, it's pretty cool. The sharp control and plunge grind is okay. I mean, I'm not going to complain too much, but I typically want the plunge grind to end way before the edge. In this case, you'll get a couple sharpenings out of it, or a few sharpenings without it hitting, hopefully. It is a little deceiving because it is such a taper. I love the satin finish. As far as nitpicks and negatives, I mean, it's small, it's compact, so that's not a nitpick or negative, but you know, you do have to like this size knife and also like tantos. So tantos are hit or miss with a lot of people, especially depending on the size and the shape of the tanto. I typically like a drop point tanto if I'm gonna get one. Next one. Next is, oh, I got the larger version of this, and this one is in, well, if it's the same, no, this one's in 154 cm. The other one was in 14C28N, I believe. It had a mirror finish on it. This one has more of a hand satin mirror. I guess it's pretty close to the same, but my other one I think was even more, now maybe it's about the same. You can see the rag right there. Yeah, it's a mirror finish on 154 cm, which 154 cm is very easy to mirror polish, almost too easy. However, as far as edges go, I personally don't like to put a mirror edge on 154 cm, especially not CPM 154. But 154 just doesn't like a mirror polish. It tends to slicken out and it doesn't keep the bite, and it doesn't even get a lot of bite. So I just say stick around medium grit, 6 to 1200 grit. The handle is a black and green, slightly contoured handle with a steel liner, deep carry steel pocket clip that's inset with flat screws. Looks like T8 hardware, except for the clip. That's good to see. Good access to that lock bar. Flipper tab works great, just like on the other one it did too. And, ooh, I can still reverse flick this one. Even though it has a polished blade, you can still reverse flick it. Ergos are okay. I typically am not a fan of knives that go from thicker to thinner, so I'm not a big fan of that just because my pinky is so important to leverage, because that's what's stopping the knife from shifting in your hand is your pinky and ring finger right here, and then these fingers kind of just act as a control. You know, with this type of grip. But pinch grips are going to be great. This is a phenomenal blade shape. It's a leaf-shaped blade shape, so this is going to be great for just about everything. Sharpening tool and plunge grind, it's okay. It could be better, but they gave you a couple sharpenings in there. But, you know, being a polished finish, I would love to see it a little bit back farther, just because you don't, it'd look really bad to have a big old scuff mark right there on a polished finish. Very smooth on the drop. Check the lockup. Oh, we got a little side to side though. Ooh, and up and down. Yeah, that's no good. So that'd be my biggest complaint so far, is just, you know, it's got some rock on both ends, side to side and up and down. Then last, we have a little worn clip. Now, I think this one's my favorite one. I like this little guy, and I'll explain why. So one, the name is the Stinger. So we have the Stinger. Oh, gosh, I should have told you the name of this guy. This is the Japalenos, or Yapalenos. And then this one, like I said, the Stinger in 14C28N. Love that blade steel, especially if it's, you know, priced really well. Ergos are very straightforward, very neutral. I can get a full grip in any grip, actually, and it's going to be comfortable in all grips. The deep carry wire clip is a little bit raised up though, if you notice, like it almost ramps upward. It is a little bit high. Now, I like having a lot of room under the clip because that tends to make it work better. Reversible wire clip, deep carry wire clip, T8 hardware all the way around. Love to see that. I like that I can choke up really nice and close to that edge bevel. It is a stone washed finish on this modified Wharncliffe blade shape because it does have a tiny bit of belly, but it does have the tapering spine and almost a straight edge. So utility cuts are going to be phenomenal. Slicing is going to be great. Cutting ropes or straps towards you. Basically everything with this type of Wharncliffe works great. The only thing it doesn't really well is down on flat surfaces. However, this has a tiny bit of belly, so you still can. Unlike traditional Wharncliffes that are perfectly straight, they don't allow that. The front flipper has good jimping on it, strong detent for a front flipper, which I like. Yeah, nice pop to it. You can do all the little tricks, you know, with the front flipper, which is cool. The access to the lock bar is decent, definitely not bad. And the action, man, the action's really good. Yeah, it's decent. Yeah, there we go. Sit, drop. Detent is perfectly placed, so you're not going to sit there and fumble around on it. Detent is nice on this guy. But the plunger on sharpening tool is where I am seeing an issue, because the plunger on hits the edge, which means when I sharpen it, it's going, I can feel it already poking down a little bit right there. So, you know, when I sharpen it, it will create a smile. It's not that big of a deal on a super budget friendly knife like this, so I'm not mad at it or anything like that. You know, it's not that big of a deal, but it could be a little bit better. Internal stopping, I always love to see that. It does have inset liners as well, which is also a nice little touch. Micarta inlay in the G10, another nice little touch, and the inlay is done pretty well. Yeah, there's like no seam at all, so you can tell the stuff was made together, which is really cool. These two are my favorites right here though, even though this one is 7CR, so I would love to see this one bumped up just a little bit when it comes to the steel choice. However, you know, if it's a gift knife, or you're buying it for somebody who's just going to tear the edge up anyways, you know, you typically don't want to buy them an expensive knife. So this would be, you know, an okay knife to get somebody like that. And, you know, maybe even, you know, possibly for yourself, if you're just looking for a beater knife, you know, something you're not going to be worried about losing, tossing, breaking, whatever. And, you know, it does have a nice blade shape and good action. So, you know, it could be, you know, a decent blade for somebody. As far as sharpening goes though, that's another thing. It'd be a cool knife to sharpen. It does have a hollow grind, but I always recommend try to sharpen 8CR and up for the first. I don't know how the heat treat is on the 7CR stuff. It might be just fine. I don't know. But I tend to try to recommend people, if they're going to practice sharpening and they want to use a budget knife, I tend to recommend 8CR and up because it's typically done well. 8CR, 14C28N, 9CR, AUS 10, 10CR, those steels, even 154CM. But anyways, there you guys go. Work hard, stay tough. Till next time, peace.